Welcome everyone. In today's video, I'm going to show you how you can short tokens using a leveraged yield farming position. So this video is merely just a proof of concept. I'll be mainly focusing on the Solana ecosystem and using Francium and Tulip as my leveraged yield farming platforms. However, you can use any leveraged yield farming platform like on the various different chains out there. So like Taro and Phantom, for example, I'm sure you'll be able to do something similar. So why would you want to use a leveraged yield farming position to short a coin? Well, there's two reasons, right? A lot of these tokens have hyperinflationary tokenomics similar to like the Zimbabwean dollar. So they'll be releasing a ton of tokens out there, and those are just going to get mercilessly farmed and dumped. And you won't be able to short a lot of these tokens on centralized exchanges. Maybe they just don't offer it because it's like a new token, it's a new farm token. Two, you might not be able to short it because you're from a restricted jurisdiction and maybe you don't want to go to a shady centralized exchange. So there's a way you can do it through a DeFi ecosystem, and you can structure a leveraged yield farming position in order to actually short this particular token. The max leverage that you can get, it's about 50% of your portfolio being short any particular asset. It's just the way that you can use Francium and Tulip. You can only use 3x leverage. So if you could use more leverage, then you can, get a larger short position. But for now, there's only 3x leverage available on these two platforms. So just to note, you can only short sell anything that is available to borrow. If you cannot borrow the token you want to short sell, then you won't be able to do this strategy. So on Francium, you can check out which ones you can actually borrow by going to the Lend tab. So we have like MSOL, Sol, Bitcoin, ETH, Ray, BNB, Uni, Sushi, Serum, Atlas, Polis, Orca, Samo, Gene, and DeFi Land. These are all the coins that you can short on Francium. But on Tulip, I think you have a greater choice. So you have about 21 different assets of which you can short sell on Tulip. So you can employ this strategy on either platform, and I will be showing you how to do it on both of them, but I will be using Francium to show you first, and they have a great calculator feature here which should be able to demonstrate what's going on in a visual way, so it would help you understand what's happening. So we're going to set up this farming calculator in a certain way. Say for example you're bearish Solana and you want to short it, but you only have USDC on you and you want to do it through a leveraged yield farming position. So we change this to SOL-USDC, the leverage needs to be 3x, and the asset to borrow has to be SOL. So let's just change this to a 30-day time period. So this is an equity curve for your leveraged yield farming position. The blue line is if you just held SOL and without farming. So you would still have 100% of your SOL, no matter what happens to the price of it. I mean, like one SOL is one SOL, so it's, your equity percentage stays at 100. However, once you open up a leveraged farming strategy, this is what the green line is. We can see that you actually make money as the price of SOL goes down. So for example, if the price of SOL went down 40%, your equity is now 118%, meaning that you made an 18% gain due to the fact that the price of SOL went down 40%. I mean, this is at the end of 30 days. If we change this, the P&L curve changes a bit, but I think that it doesn't really make sense to hold a short position too long, especially in crypto, because we can get very volatile situations and you can potentially get liquidated. Like if the price of SOL goes up 61%, then you can get liquidated. But yeah, like I said, like say if the price of SOL went down 20%, you actually made 15% on your short position. However, once you go like sort of past 50%, your position is no longer a short and you actually start losing money the further you go from a 50% drop in SOL. So if you were going to do this, as soon as like the price of SOL dropped about around 40-45%, you'd want to close out the position and then reopen it again if you were still bearish Solana. This is what the leverage yield farming short should look like on a graph. But now I'm going to show you all the figures behind this and really walk you through exactly what happens when you are opening up a leverage yield farming position with 3x leverage, but you're borrowing the asset that you want to short. So don't pay attention to any of this stuff for now. I'll explain it. What I want you to pay attention to is my cursor here. So let's just say for the sake of this example, we have 100 USDC and we want to go short Solana, and we want to do it through leverage yield farming. So you don't have to do this on Solana. You can do this on, like I said, any token that's available on this Francium lending tab, but I think it's just easier for me to show you with Solana because we're all familiar with like Solana's price, and it'll be easier to just visualize in your head. So you want to go short SOL, so you leverage yield farm the SOL-USDC pair at 3x leverage, and we'll be borrowing SOL to do so. So you have the option to either borrow SOL or USDC. If you borrow USDC, then you're entering a leverage long position, but if you're borrowing SOL, you're going to be entering a short position on it. So make sure to be borrowing SOL. So for the sake of this example, the price of Solana is going to be $200, so it's going to be $200 per SOL. So when you're leverage yield farming SOL-USDC at 3x leverage and you're borrowing SOL, what happens is that you borrow an additional $200, which is going to be 1 SOL because 1 SOL is $200. So your total farming position then becomes $300, and that's made up of 1 SOL and 100 USDC. But in order to farm the SOL-USDC pair, you need to have an equal amount of each asset. So 50% of your portfolio will be SOL and 50% of your portfolio will be USDC. So your SOL is now $150 worth instead of the $200. So that's 0.75 SOL. And the other 50% of your portfolio is now $150 worth of USDC. So in that example, you started off with 1 SOL and then it turns into 0.75. So what happens is that 0.25 SOL is then converted into 50 USDC, and that with your initial deposit, makes up the 150 USDC that we see here. So when you want to close your farming position, you will have to return that 1 SOL that you borrowed initially. But that 1 SOL has been split up into 0.75 SOL in your farming position, and 0.25 SOL has been converted into USDC. So in order to close that farming position and return the SOL, you need to buy back this 0.25 SOL. So let's just say in this example, the price of SOL fell by 25%. It went from 200 SOL to 150 per SOL. So in this example, that 0.25 SOL is now worth $37.5. So instead of having to rebuy that SOL for 50 USDC, you're rebuying that SOL at $37.5. So 50 minus 37.5, that's a $12.5 difference between 50 and 37.5. So you can keep that difference between the 50 and 37.5. Francium doesn't care about the price difference. All they want back is the SOL that they lent you. So in this example, the price of SOL fell 25%, but you ended up profiting 12.5% from your position. So effectively, with your 100 USDC, you created a $50 SOL short. So if the price of SOL went to $250, you would be buying back that 0.25 SOL for $75 instead of the initial $50. So effectively you would have lost $25 in that scenario because you initially sold that SOL off for $50 and you have to rebuy it back for $75. So I hope that the calculator and the demonstration I just walked you through helped illuminate exactly what happened there. But if it didn't and you still have questions, you can go ahead and ask them in the comments down below. But I will also write a detailed description of exactly what happened there in the description, so make sure to read that before you comment. But in order to actually go ahead and execute this short strategy, what you need to do is go onto Francium's farm page and then choose whatever token that you want to short. So remember, it has to be from the Francium lend page. So for example, we won't be able to short Cave, Stars or Allbridge, but let's just choose SOL again. So let's just, there we go, SOL-USDC, and we'll have this at 3x leverage. So we press farm and let's do $100 worth. So we'll only be supplying USDC. We have it 3x leverage and the asset to borrow has to be SOL. If it's USDC, you're going leverage long. If it's SOL, you take a short position out. So you can add a stop loss if you want, if you think that you potentially might get liquidated. But yeah, this is basically everything that's set up. So the assets supplied here is 100 USDC and the assets borrowed is 1.1 SOL. So the total assets in the position is 150 USDC and 0.83 SOL. So that's $150 worth of SOL. In my example, I just used an arbitrary price. The current price of SOL is $177.52. So it's going to be slightly different from my example. So you can press here, you can go on the simulator and it will show you exactly what might occur. But you can also use the calculator tab there as well. And we can just press farm. So what I've done there is I've opened up a $50 short position on Francium, which is 50% of my portfolio. So given current leverage constraints, we can only use 3x leverage. I wasn't able to short the entirety of my portfolio's worth, but I think you might be able to do so on other leverage yield farming platforms out there. Like I think Alpha Finance, for example, on Ethereum, you're able to use up to 9x leverage, but on Francium and Tulip, you're only able to use 3x leverage. So we can see here, if I go into my position details, it shows me what might happen given the price of SOL, where that goes, and then I can go here, I can withdraw everything if I need to, and you can either do it convert to USDC or convert it all into SOL. But let's just say, for example, I just want to withdraw all of my USDC again. I just press withdraw here. Okay, and there we go. I've closed that short position on Francium. So now I'm going to show you how to do this on Tulip. Remember, you can choose any asset that's here in the lending tab. So we have a bit more choice on Tulip, but we'll go back to the leverage farming page. And let's just say, for example, I wanted to go short Orca. So I press farm at 3x leverage, and then I will deposit 100 USDC for this, and we'll do 3x leverage here. Just make sure that's at 3, and the borrow asset has to be completely 100% USDC. So the assets in position, we have 30.5 Orca, which is $150 worth of Orca tokens and $150 worth of USDC. So when I press this farm button, I have opened up a $50 short on Orca. So I'm just going to press approve here. Okay, so in order to look at my leveraged farming position, we click on this tab here, go to positions, and then I can press refresh, and there we go. My Orca short has now shown up. So you can add collateral here if you need to, or you can close the position by pressing close, and then I just want to withdraw it all to USDC. And I'll be receiving 99.53 USDC back. Let me press close position and approve this transaction. So there we go, my position has been closed. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like it and subscribe for more videos like this one.